Hi. Hi. Please excuse my son. Welcome to Nia's Divine Garden. This is Dania. And today I kind of just want to talk about my process when there's a new and a full moon. So I wanted to share my process. If you're new here, thank you so much for coming. I hope that you will consider subscribing to my channel. Make sure you like, share with friends. It helps my channel grow. I haven't done a moon reading in a while, but I'm not doing one of those today. Today is about how I work through my own process with me getting ready personally for the new and the full moon. So I'm doing this now because in a couple of days, we have the full moon in Capricorn coming up. You typically feel the energy of this moon happening 3 days before. It's most potent the day of, and then you have 3 days after. So around about like just shy of a week is the energy present. So today is the first day that the energy is fully present. And if you watched my video from earlier today, and I'll probably try to put something here for it, but that was like that when I kind of share some of this energy, and I want to give a shout out to Astrology by Heather. I will have her tagged, her channel tagged, but her channel is actually part of my moon ritual at this point. So let's talk about what I end up doing. So first thing I do anytime I am getting ready for one of the moons, I always look to see where the moon is happening and how this relates to my chart. So actually, you know what? I'll show you. Hold on. Okay, so before I watch anything or do any looking at anybody's horoscopes or anything like that, I actually come out and I kind of see where it's happening, when it's happening, things like that. So this is AstroSeek. I'm going to try to move this and see. Yeah, so this is astroseek.com. They have a really awesome moon calendar. At the beginning of the month, I will use their calendar and pull up like the void of course, so I can know, when the moon is changing signs, when the moon is void, all of those things. If you're curious what all of that means, don't worry, I have something coming soon. But yeah, I look at all of that information. And then on here, you can change to your local time. So I always make sure I change it to my local time. So the moon is going to be full on July 13th at 2:37. And it'll be in the sign of Capricorn at 21 degrees. So I can easily click here and pull up a chart. And I can edit the birth data, but it will literally give you a chart of that moon. So actually, let me go back so that you can see that. So this is literally the chart of the moment that the moon is full. So even this alone can give you some insight into the energy of this full moon. Like, how will we present in this energy, and how we will communicate and things of that nature. So this is literally the birth chart of the full moon on that day. And lately I have taken a peek at that to see how that plays out. But generally speaking, I will come in here, put in on my birth information. And the reason I do this is because I want to see where this moon is going to fall in my actual chart. And so this is my actual birth chart. So I can easily see, like, the moon is going to be in Capricorn, so the moon will be right about here. This is astro.com. And yep. So astro.com doesn't give me like that time thing, which is what I like about this one, is I can like actually move the time and it'll show like what is happening minute by minute, day by day, things like that. So I can at least see where it's located at, but in a more realistic sense, this moon right here would actually be right about here, um, on that day at the moment of the full moon. So I look to see, okay, this is where it's happening at. This is which house it is in, which tells me which area of my life is going to be illuminated by the moon, and which area of my life is being illuminated by the sun. I can see what else is happening in the cosmos around that time. So that's kind of one of the first things I end up doing before I kind of listen to anything else. And even though there are a few readers that I see that do pick of cards and things like that, I don't listen to anybody else's stuff beyond the astrological point before I do my own reading, which I'm going to do later. But I always have, this is my, it doesn't have a cover, but this is my notebook. And this is where I write down all of my notes for transits, readings, things like that. I started, I printed out all my birth chart and all those things. I printed out my kids' birth chart so they can have it when they're older. So all of this is my, so that way someone wants to go back and look, they can go back and look and say, oh, okay, I see, mom's journal and this is going on. And I'm curious, oh snap, she's got a birth chart in here. Like, no, they can do that because I'm a nerd and chances are my kids will probably grow up to be nerds and do nerdy things like that. So I will share what Heather shared because I thought it was really great information about the astrologically, like a really deep dive. She does a really great forecast, and she does it like one for the waxing cycle, one for the waning cycle, and then any major transit. So I like watching her channel specifically for the moons. That has this now become part of my routine. If you flip through here, you'll see where I did all of her stuff, any impressions that I have, and then I do it. So things that she indicated that will be highlighted: radical transformation, because as I mentioned, the moon is going to be conjunct Pluto, which is all about death, rebirth, and transformation. And right now it's going to be illuminated by the light, technically of the sun, but the light reflecting on the moon to Pluto is what's going to be happening. And we're going to see this transformation happen very outwardly, like a physical expression. So even for myself personally, like today, and this will even be highlighted again further, but I can tell there's been a difference in how I'm channeling, and that physically showed up today because I decided to do a video straight, just download and just let it flow. There are going to be unusual secrets revealed. We're going to be breaking through the status quo, shaking up traditions, and it's going to be interesting because Capricorn is very traditional, so we'll be shaking up those traditions, but in a way that doesn't feel super disruptive. Uranus is going to be still squaring Saturn, but because it's trining, which means it's just the angle at which it's looking at the moon makes them work together really well. It's going to be that rebellious energy of Uranus is going to feel a little bit, less confined by Saturn. It's going to be like, oh, I'm coming, like they literally, I heard, I'm coming out. That's what I heard. There's going to be some things that are disruptive later in the month that she calls out. But this is a really, really super intuitive energy and receptive. So very feminine energy. The moon itself is a feminine planet, but we're having this full moon in a feminine sign, making harmonious aspects to other feminine signs. So it's a very feminine energy. And what that means, for those of you who don't realize that feminine and woman are not synonyms. Women, womb holders can be feminine, but we're more than that. Okay, I'm gonna stop before I can go that. But this is going to be a very feminine energy. And when I say feminine energy, your feminine energy is literally energy within you that connects you to spirit. It is the energy that connects you to the divine. It's the energy that connects you to God. Your feminine energy is what does that. It is receptive, which means it's open to receive. That means it's opening from the universe. It's open to the universe to get things, to receive things. It's super intuitive. So when you're like, man, I feel like dot 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 dot, and like you can't let it go. I got to do it. I can't let it go. That's how I felt this morning. Whatever was happening, I couldn't let it go. I couldn't journal about my day. I could barely pull a card for the day. I had to go and do that thing. So that's that. That is that being receptive and into following your intuition type of energy. That's going to be really high. Like you're going to be like, you're when you get that feeling and say, I'm taking a day off, then hold on a second. Sorry, I'm looking and I'm like, what y'all doing? But you're gonna be feeling really, really super intuitive, which is great because at the time of the full moon, our this part of our brain is not gonna be clear. And I've also felt that. Like I was on the phone with my cousin, I'm just like, I can't think. Like I can only feel. I can't think, I can only feel. And that's because right now, where Mercury is sitting in relation to the sun, it is literally just being burned by the sun's heat. It's just like, oh my God, it's so hot. And so you can't think. Like those of us in the South can relate, like you go outside, it's so hot, you can't think. So right now, our logical mind isn't working quite like it should. Um, and it's really probably really highlighted because Mercury is sitting in the sign of Cancer, which is a feeling energy. So if you've been like leading more with your heart, leading more with your emotions during Cancer season, you're supposed to, because that's where we're at. That's where we're being asked to be. Um, so because our mental might be a little, and Cancer has us feeling a lot, our intuition, our voice from source, that is where we're going to get a lot of that clarity from. So definitely take time to make sure you're grounded. It's happening in an earth sign. Definitely do some things to keep you grounded. When you start doing like monkey mind, like you're just like, I can't think, blah, 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 if you're one of those people who starts playing out conversations in your head before they actually happen, stop. I'm telling you, when you start to feel that way, stop. Pause, step back, take a few deep breaths, and allow yourself to tap into your higher self, favorite self, whatever you feel like the name of the part of your spirit that's still with source, whatever that naming convention needs to be, tap into that energy so that you can allow your intuition to lead you. For those of you who either know you're psychic or hint that you're psychic or things of that nature, everyone's a little psychic. You know, bare minimum, everybody's got intuition. That's a psychic gift. You can look that up in the dictionary. But that energy is going to be like, ooh, because we have the moon, which is the archetype of the divine feminine. It is the birthplace of psychic gifts. You have Pluto, which is exceptionally psychic. Those two are sitting side by side. You have the sun and Mercury sitting in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. It is a psychic sign. So it's a very, very psychic energy that's going to be happening with this full moon. So instant downloads. Again, how I was feeling earlier. Instant downloads, insights, and like you're gonna have a moment of genius. I love that Heather said that. Like there's gonna be a moment of genius. There's gonna be this moment like whatever downloads you're getting, write them down. And if you think I'm not just talking, like literally, like this is me, makeup hands this morning, just writing ideas. This was me one day, just like writing, like, and I did it all that in a manner of minutes. Just, oh, this is such a great idea, and just started to write. So pay attention, because what's going to come to us is guidance. So the things that are happening at the end of the month, the changes, the shifts, the like, oh my God, what the freak is going on, kind of thing. We're going to be prepared for it. It's not going to be one of those things where like it's going to happen and we haven't gotten any guidance or wisdom on how to deal with it. We're going to get some information to help us be better prepared and how to handle it. So I thought that was really, really a really great call out. So make sure you're journaling a lot. a lot. Even if it's like, I don't know why I got this thought, write it down anyway. Write it down. Write it down. On the 16th, she indicated this like burst because on the 16th, I want to say it'll be around 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but don't quote me on that. She puts at 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Do the math for your time zone. But she said the Mercury will be cazimi. So where it's like, let's say you're traveling by the sun. So the hottest part of the sun is on the outside, where it's that's where all the main heat is. But when you get towards the middle, when you're lined up, it's not as hot there. It's kind of like being in a storm. That's all the chaos is happening around the outside, but in the center, it's calm. So Mercury is going to be in the center of the sun. So instead of it being burned by the sun, it's being protected and illuminated by the sun. It's getting its power and additional ashe from the sun. So things that are very Mercury, communication. So written and oral communication, thoughts and ideas, discernment, relationships with our siblings, teaching, all of these very technology will likely work really well for that period of time. Your internet might be really stable during that period of time. But all of these things that are related to Mercury, you can just look up the Mercury things. All of these themes are going to be like bright, shining diamonds for this window of time. So much like you start feeling the energy before and you still kind of feel it after, the cazimi will be the same time. So the cazimi is 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time on the 16th. So that means 2 hours before and 2 hours after, you'll still feel it. It'll just be heat. So during this time, especially if you can actually be off and not be doing anything, it's a really, really great time to make the most of the energy. Ideas she came up with, like brainstorming, if you are somebody that channels, like meditate and write and see what kind of downloads you get. It'll be the perfect time. She actually calls for an active meditation. So like automatic writing is an active meditation. But there's going to be like some very clear psychic and intuitive insights coming through. So that's a lot of her notes that she gave. And, just on a like really, really just basic, average thing. The moon is about, always about, with the full moon, it's about reflecting back on the waxing cycle from sign to sign. You reflect back also through that lunar month, but I'll also say look back to that sign. So the moon is happening and full moon is happening in Capricorn. So think back from into December, beginning of January, when there was a new moon in Capricorn. Look at those intentions that you set. Look at the intentions you set on that moon, and then look at how they how they've harvested. Are there things that they've really grown? You're good with them. You don't need to continue sowing those seeds. That's what you release. Are there things that maybe didn't work out? You may need to tweak them. You might need to like set new intentions for them. But looking back, also doing gratitude rituals. Queen Poe, shouts out to the Queen Poe for the suggestion on doing a gratitude jar throughout the month. Starting off with the new moon and just like putting in day by day what you're grateful for, and then reading those things out, giving thanks for those things, gratitude rituals. Full moons are always a great time to connect with your ancestors because the veil is always thinner during a full moon. That is also something you do. Full moon baths are always, moon baths in general throughout the month are always a good thing. A full moon baths for healing, for release, for cleansing are good because the minute after the moon is full, it's waning. That means it's releasing energy. Leading up to the full moon, it is building energy up. But the moment after, it is releasing. So for me personally, like if you ask me about like, do I charge my crystals in the full moon? I do, and I don't. It's I charge my crystals during the waxing gibbous leading up to the full moon, depending on when the full moon is going to take place. So let's say the full moon is going to be like 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, yeah, I'll put my crystals out the night before because they'll be out as the moon becomes full. So they'll get like that buildup of energy. Whereas afterwards, it's not that it's not as strong, but I want it at the most potent. So that's why I do mine that way. New moons, I actually choose to do sun charging because the moon is conjunct the sun. So I actually like to charge my crystals outside during the sunlight to get the energy that way. If I want to do manifestation, I want to do it as the energy is still waxing, because that's true manifestation energy. But yeah, so now that I've got like Heather's predictions, I know where it's happening in my chart. I can like, look and see if there's anything that sticks out to me beyond what Heather has already illuminated for us. And then I do my card reading on myself before I watch anybody's pick a card. And I don't have to watch pick a cards. I just like to. I always think they're really cool. I love watching the pick a cards. And sometimes there are questions they ask that I don't think to ask. And thus I will get additional insights that either confirm or enhance the reading I've already done for myself. So that is my, generally speaking, new and full moon ritual. What do you do with the new and the full moon? How do you make the most of the energy? How are you going to make the most of this energy with the Capricorn moon? Let me know down in the comments. If you would like a moon reading, I do. Sorry, it's a 12-year-old little boy, and we will laugh at double entendres. So I do provide new and full moon readings. You can check those out on my website. I'm actually going to run a sale for a little while for the readings. So if you want one, now is a good time. I do have a subscription plan for moon readings. So if you like getting moon readings on a regular basis, but you want to do it in a way that is more cost effective, I do have a monthly plan, and you will automatically get them. Like I will automatically record your readings. If you have your birth time and location, it will be even more personalized because I do incorporate astrology in there. Speaking of, I didn't also tell you the numbers for the day. So this is happening on the 13th. So for the collective, we're in a 6th year. So think of things like harmony, balance, being of service, very feminine energy, very nurturing. So 6 years, the 13th is 4, 6 plus 7 is, so it's a 4-month for the collective. So 4 is all about stability, structure, organization, which makes perfect sense considering that astrologically, the kind of like chaotic energy that might be coming at the end of the month, it's a 4-month so that we can build structures, we can have things in place so that when shifting and changing is required, we are doing so on a stable foundation. And the 13th, so that's a 4 plus 4, so it's an 8th day. So this is all about hard work that leads to abundance. It is the realization that abundance is not simply financial, but looking at abundance in all areas of your life. So if you're someone that does manifestation for the full moon, or you're looking at what to be grateful for the full moon, don't simply look at, did I make the money I wanted to make? Look at your overall quality of life and how it is being illuminated. Look at where the full moon and new moon fell in your birth chart and see where that's looking at. Oh, and then I will say, if you ask me when I watch those astrology videos, what sign do I watch for? I do, generally speaking, only watch for my rising sign. But I do mine a little different. I watch for my natal, progressed, and solar return rising sign, because all of those areas are the ones of most focus in my life. So I look at my natal rising sign, which for me is a Cancer. I am progressed Leo rising, and this year I'm a Scorpio rising. And when I look at those and go back, that is the most accurate horoscope for me. So that is how I look at those astrology readings. It is always for me based on my rising sign, unless I feel called to look at my sun and my moon. And even then I look at progressed sun and moon signs as well. All right, so that is all. So it's an 8-day and a 4-month. Make the most of this energy. It's the 13th, so there is some karmic debt associated with the number 13 in general, with of communication and creativity. So be creative. Make sure you're using your words, um, following your intuition, and letting the information come to you the way it needs to come. All right. But let me know how this resonated with you. Make sure you let me know in the comments what you're going to do for this full moon. You might be doing something that I'm not, and I might want to learn from you. But thank you so much for watching. Once again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for updates. I am getting ready for podcast season, so I'm only doing a few more YouTube episodes before I'll be recording for my podcast. So that way I will have podcast episodes up for August. So make sure you are subscribed to my podcast. And if you need a reading, you can book that. Otherwise, like, share, and have a beautiful full moon. Bye.